The sun did not rise in the Ibekwe household. It was summoned by the clinking of Mrs. Eunice Ibekwe's gold jewelry. Eunice was a woman of substance, a widow who had turned her late husband's construction company into an empire of glass and steel. But in her heart, she was a woman of two halves. One half was overflowing with a shimmering, blinding love for her first daughter, Chinenye. The other half was a cold, desolate wasteland reserved for her younger daughter, Ifunanya. Chinenye was the golden child. She was the one who had been sent to the finest boarding schools in London, the one whose wedding to a billionaire's son shut down the city of Enugu for 3 days, and the one whose every whim was treated as a divine decree. Ifunanya, on the other hand, was the ghost. She was the daughter who had stayed behind to nurse their father through his agonizing battle with cancer, while Eunice and Chinenye were away on a grief-healing shopping trip in Dubai. Ifunanya was the one who had fought for a nursing degree at a local university, paying her own way by selling homemade pastries, while her mother bought Chinenye a custom-made Range Rover just because the girl felt a bit bored with her Mercedes. The disparity was not just in money, it was in the very air they breathed. Mrs. Ibekwe was sitting on her velvet throne in the living room, fanning herself. Beside her sat Chinenye, draped in Italian silk, her fingers busy scrolling through a luxury travel blog on her latest iPhone. Ifunanya cooking in the kitchen, her hands smelling of the onions she was chopping for the family's lunch. A lunch the cook was supposed to make, but Mrs. Ibekwe insisted Ifunanya prepare because the cook's seasoning isn't as humble as yours.
Ifunanya! Ifunanya, where are you? Ifunanya, come here, please. Ifunanya! Look at you. Your sister's foundation launch is this evening. All the dignitaries will be there. I don't want you coming out and embarrassing us with that poverty-stricken face of yours. Stay in the kitchen.
The night of the shattered glass. The launch of Chinenye's Glow, a luxury skincare line, funded entirely by Mrs. Ibekwe, was a glittering affair. The compound was packed with black SUVs and men in flowing white agbadas. From the small window of her bedroom at the back of the house, Ifunanya watched the festivities. She watched her mother glowing with pride as she introduced Chinenye as the brain of the family, the pride of the Ibekwe lineage. Ifunanya turned away from the window, picked up her nursing textbook and tried to focus. But her peace was shattered by a piercing scream, followed by the sound of glass breaking and the heavy thud of a body hitting the floor. Ifunanya dropped her book and ran. She bypassed the security and burst into the marquee. In the center of the room, her mother lay crumpled on the marble floor. Her face was a terrifying shade of grey, and foam was flecking her lips. "Mommy!" Ifunanya screamed, her nursing instincts taking over. She pushed through the panicked socialites and knelt by her mother's side. She checked the pulse. It was thready, erratic. "Call an ambulance, now!" she roared at the frozen crowd. Chinenye stood a few feet away, her hands over her mouth, her eyes wide with a mixture of horror. Ifunanya didn't answer. She was performing chest compressions, her mind racing through her medical training. This isn't a heart attack, she thought. This looks like a massive internal collapse. The private wing of St. Jude's Hospital was silent, save for the rhythmic beep of the monitors keeping Mrs. Eunice Ibekwe alive. For 3 days, she had been in a coma. The diagnosis was a shock, a rare, aggressive form of aplastic anemia that had sat dormant in her system for years, suddenly triggered by a viral infection she hadn't noticed. Her bone marrow had stopped producing blood cells. Her hemoglobin levels were plummeting. She needed an urgent, massive transfusion, followed by a marrow transplant. But there was a problem, a life-threatening one.
Both of you, sit. Your mother's health is in a bad state.
What is it, doctor?
Your mother has what we call the Bombay blood group phenotype. She cannot receive O, A, B, or AB blood. Her body will treat it as poison and she will die within minutes. We have checked all the blood banks in the country. There is nothing.
Then fly some in. From London, from America. Use my mother's money. Why are you telling me?
There isn't time for a flight from Europe. She needs a transfusion in the next 12 hours to stabilize her for surgery. Our only hope is a direct relative, this rare phenotype.
I'll do it. Of course I'll do it. I'm the one she loves the most. It only makes sense that my blood is the one that matches hers.
They were tested immediately. Chineye sat in the lab complaining about the smell of disinfectant,
Ew, this place smells
while
like rotten
Ifunanya
eggs.
sat
How can
quietly
you stand this?
praying
Sister,
for her
we must
mother's
endure.
life, despite the years of cruelty.
Chinenye, you are O positive. You cannot save her. In fact, genetically speaking, it is quite a surprise. Ifunanya, you are a perfect match. You have the Bombay phenotype.
That's impossible. How can she be the match? I am the one who looks like mommy. I am the one who has her spirit.
Blood does not care about favoritism. It only cares about biology. We need to begin the process immediately. Your mother is slipping away.
You can't do it. I am the golden child. Let go of me.
Please, stop this now.
Stay out of this. You can't do it. I am the golden child. You can't stop me. Can I have a moment alone with my sister? If you give her that blood, she will find out the truth. And so will you. What truth? Do you remember the old rumors? The ones mommy's enemies used to whisper? That she couldn't conceive after she had me? That she went to a specialist in the village when she was desperate for a second child to please dad? What are you saying? Mommy didn't go to a doctor. She took a child from a woman who had died in a roadside accident, a woman who was a stranger to our village. You aren't her biological daughter. That's why she hates you. Every time she looks at you, she sees her own lie. She sees the charity case she took to keep dad from marrying a second wife. If I'm not her daughter, why am I the only match for her blood? Because the woman who died on that road, she was mommy's distant cousin, a woman mommy had banished because she was low class. The rare blood runs in that side of the family. Mommy knows she has it. She knows I don't. If you save her, the medical records will prove the lineage. It will prove you are the rightful heir to the Ibekwe name through the maternal bloodline.
Ifunanya sat on the floor of the hospital corridor, her head in her hands. Her whole life had been a lie. She had been treated like a servant by a woman who wasn't her mother, yet was her blood relative. She had been mocked by a sister who was actually a fraud. Inside the ICU,
Code blue,
the
room
monitors began to
301.
wail.
Ma'am, can you
A
hear
code
me?
blue
Stay with
was
me.
announced over
Buzzer
the
pressed.
intercom.
I need the crash
Dr.
cart and team
Okonjura
now.
ran.
Vitals drop.
We need you now! Her heart is failing!
Out of my way! Stop! What? You think everyone is like you. You think everything is a transaction. I'm not saving her for the money or the inheritance. I'm saving her because I'm a nurse and because unlike you, I still have a soul. If she dies, the secret dies with her. We split the estate 50-50. I'll make sure you're rich for life. You can go to America, become a doctor, anything. Just let her go.
The procedure was grueling. Ifunanya gave until she felt faint, her own blood flowing through tubes into the woman who had spent 20 years trying to diminish her.
Where is your sister? She's at home, Mommy. She's busy managing the foundation launch and talking to the lawyers about the estate.
Chineye arrived at the hospital a week later, carrying a bouquet of expensive lilies and a prepared speech about how she had been praying fervently in the chapel.
Mommy, thank God you're back. I've already started planning the Thanksgiving party. We'll invite the governor. I want you to leave. I've spoken to the lawyers. The Chinenye Glow line is being transferred to Ifunanya's name. The Range Rover is being sold to fund a new wing at this hospital. And you are going to the village.
Mrs. Ibekwe looked at her eldest daughter, the one she had pampered, the one who had urged Ifunanya to let her die to protect a secret.
Mommy, you can't be serious. Because of her? Because of this servant? She is not a servant. She is the one whose blood is currently keeping my heart beating. She is the data I didn't deserve. And as for you, you are the monster I created. Now, I am going to unmake you.
Chinenye was escorted out by security, her screams echoing through the hallway.
Can you ever forgive me? Not because I am your mother, but because I am a woman who was lost in her own darkness.
She reached out and adjusted her mother's pillow, her movements practiced and gentle.
I already saved your life, Mommy. Forgiving you is the easy part. But from now on, we tell the truth. No more ghosts, no more golden children, just blood and bone. I understand.
And as the sun set over the hospital, it didn't shine on gold or silk. It shone on a small hospital room where two women, bound by a rare and sacred blood, began the long, painful process of becoming a family.